Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Who else do we have? Who's 5761?
That's me.
Is that Brian?
No, Tom.
Oh,
Tom Rail, I'm trying to get into the meeting. I can't get on the computer, so I finally called on the telephone, so.
okay, Tom. Yeah, Kyle sent out an updated link. I don't know if you want to check for that. He just sent it out. Otherwise, the phone, that works.
I'll do that way. I'll stay on the phone, so I don't lose you all.
Sounds good, Tom. And then who else do we have? 3131?
That's Larry Cooper at Lambert Lane Associates.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Thank you. Let's call a meeting to order. I've never tried to chair a meeting from Zoom, so it's 4:07 p.m.
It'd be brand new to me, too, Mr. Mayor.
Sounds good. So yeah, 4:07, let's call a meeting to order. Let me get my agenda up here. Our first item on the agenda is the approval of the October 5th Planning Commission meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Susan,
Second by Brian.
second by Rye. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I'm sorry, any negative? Probably not. Second item on the agenda is Happy Hippo Construction LLC, CSM request for the certified survey map approval for the reconfiguration of 3 parcels and the dedication of property as public road right-of-way. The subject properties are located at 2751, 2811, and 2821 A Street South. Parcel IDs 3412636, 3413000, 3413000-1, and 3413001. Kyle?
Thank you, Mayor. So we have in front of us a request for a survey. Essentially, the applicant is requesting to combine what would be 4 lots into 2 lots, as well as dedicate 5 feet of right-of-way along 8th Street South. So you can see that I've summarized the request and included an aerial photo in the packet, and then you can compare that to what's requested in the CSM that's attached. Essentially, Lot 1 will encompass what would be formerly 3 lots, and Lot 2, really the primary change there is that the lot line that separated Lot 1 and Lot 2 will be moved to the north, and they'll be moved on what would be the north side of the ingress-egress of Lot 2. So that driveway, if you reference the aerial photo, that driveway used to be part of Lot 1. They're requesting to relocate that lot line to the north so that that driveway would be located entirely on Lot 2. That also increases the setback for the building, the northern setback for the building, the side yard setback, which is more consistent with zoning standards. In addition, from a zoning standpoint, there are no issues with regards to the CSM. It meets the lot width, the lot size, and so forth. And then with regards to the dedicated right-of-way, the reason for that is that the right-of-way is not 100 feet, and this is a main arterial, and in other locations we have a total right-of-way width of 100 feet, and therefore a 5-foot dedication on this side of the street, and hopefully an eventual dedication in the future would allow for that 100-foot right-of-way to be obtained. So that's why they are dedicating 5 feet of right-of-way. and Plan Commission needs to act to accept that dedication. With that being said, staff would recommend approval.
I have a couple of questions. I don't know if it's appropriate here or after there's a motion.
We can take somebody can make a motion if they want, then we get that going, and then we can start the discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I think, I heard a couple of people make the motion. I heard Susan. Was there a second?
I'll second that. Burkhart, second.
Sounds good, thank you, Shane. So we have a motion and a second, and Susan?
Okay, the questions. Larry, are you still there?
I am Susan.
Okay, the creek runs through, exposed through the piece of the lot of the north side of lot 1, and then it goes underground in a culvert through the parking lot and then across to 8th Street.
That is correct.
Can you talk a little bit about what the parameters are, the ramifications are for development on that piece of lot 1 that has the exposed piece of brick on it?
Well, that is presently in a wooded area that's undeveloped, except for the homeless person that's been living in there. So I guess if somebody wanted to get across the creek to do something on the part of lot 1 that would lie east of the creek, they would need permits from the DNR to put a culvert crossing in there or do something. I think from the research that the city did earlier this year when there was an issue with a pavement collapse on the property as a result of washout near that catch basin inlet closest to 8th Street, it was sometime like around 1966 that Sigurds had that creek put into the pipe. The title search that was done at the time Happy Hippo bought the property from Sigurd didn't go back that far, so they didn't uncover any easements. The city didn't have any on record, and we weren't asked to go research it. I brought it up with Happy Hippo and was told that he would probably have his attorney look into that. But as far as I know, nobody's uncovered any easements for that creek running through that property. Although when you get to the other side of 8th Street, there is an easement there that the city was able to uncover. So,
Well, is there a development proposed for that piece of property? When I went out to inspect it before the meeting, I see that there's a sign up on that piece just behind the paved portion that fronts on 8th Street that says that it's available for build to suit or lease to suit. Is there a plan to develop that?
as far, there could be, Susan, but I'm not privy to that. If there is, Richard Ajak, Happy Hippo, hasn't mentioned anything to me. As far as I know, he was just trying to get that property set up so that it could be sold or leased separately. And as Kyle mentioned earlier, there were 4 parcels of land that 2 of them were reconfigured and 2 parcels were added to that.
Mayor, if I could talk.
Lot 1.
Mayor, if I can talk.
Who's it? Who are you?
Tom Rayon.
Oh, yeah, Tom.
Susan is right on the right path. There's a crook behind the system, is what there is, so.
Tom, I don't think.
And I'm just laying it, no, I'm just putting it out. There's a crook behind the system that's going here, because I've tried to find out today and called people. And nobody wants to give me a straightforward name. I want to know Hippo who they are.
You just
Happy Hippo, I want to know their name. I want to know their name.
Tom?
I want to know their name.
Tom.
And it's Lampert Lee, if that's it, I want to know who it is, so.
Tom, it's on the, what is that, the fourth page of the CSM.
Okay, well, it's not, and if I got it on the 4th page, then it's really in the fine print, so.
Well, it's right
It's
on.
really in the fine print, so. Can you tell me just publicly, so it is, who is?
Yeah, it's Richard Hajek, Hajek. He also owns the property where Dunkin' and Pizza Hut are, and
Yep.
and then he bought.
That's why let's get into lay everything out on the table.
Yeah, he also
Let's
owns
lay
that
everything
property.
out on the table.
Tom, just let him finish.
Tom, in addition to the property that he owns, that's got, I forget what used to be in the large building that's east of Duncan, but then he bought what I believe is the former Staples building that was converted to some sporting goods store that's south of that property.
Yep.
And then he more recently purchased a bigger property, which is what this CSM is.
Yep. Yeah, it was a movie theater. That's what it's built as, so.
You're right, I remember seeing that in the paperwork that the city unearthed when that high school was in.
Some of us are too old that we remember something, so.
Okay, well, that wasn't really where I was going, Tom or Larry.
Okay.
I would.
Go ahead, Susan.
I would go back to Shane, and this is the same creek that was recently identified as a stormwater retention opportunity, correct? In a different segment of it?
Yeah, it's a section down by Lincoln Street to 2 Mile.
Okay, so does this have any impact, or could this have any impact on what your plans are for that change or development?
It should, because it's, the stormwater project is just from Lincoln Street to 2 Mile, and it's not going to address anything further upstream.
Well, yeah, but it affects the flowage upstream, I think.
It potentially could, but apparently what they're looking at is just the stormwater credits are from 2 Mile up to the dam on the upper creek by Lincoln Street, and potentially the pond there at Lincoln Street. But nothing's going to be done anything further up.
Okay, so the change in this property really isn't going to give the new owner, current owner, whatever he is, the ability to alter the flow of the stream, correct?
Correct. It's just the culvert that runs underneath the parking lot there.
Okay.
Anybody have any other additional questions? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and a second to approve. Seeing no further other discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Anybody, any negative? Hearing none, motion carries. Let me bring up the agenda. Our next item is 48th and Goal LLC, extraterritorial CSM, request for a certified survey map approval for the creation of 4 lots, one of which is under 5 acres within the town of Saratoga. The subject property is east of 48th Street and south of Town Line Road, parcel ID 1800027. Kyle?
So our subdivision code requires that we review extraterritorial CSMs that are requested, and so the county, when they receive them, or the township, they're supposed to notify us if it's within 3 miles of our extraterritorial area surrounding the city boundaries. This property does fall within that area. Furthermore, the subdivision of lots that are created have to be under 5 acres for us to review them. And in this case, one of those lots identified on the CSM is under 5 acres and therefore would trigger our review of the extraterritorial CSM. With that being said, you know, it's nearly 2 miles from the city boundary. In looking at lots adjacent to this, to the east, there are ones of very similar size, residential lots. Therefore, staff doesn't have any concerns with regards to the CSM, and we would recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to accept the request.
Second.
Who made the motion?
Bemke.
Oh, thanks, Dave. So motion and a second, is there any further discussion? No, Brian, did you have anything you want to add, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. And our next item is staff update from Kyle.
So the update I wanted to provide today was in regards to an item that was tabled that is not on the agenda. And the reason it's not on the agenda is that I wanted to give you guys some more time and wanted to, again, update you with regards to the action that was taken. And that item, I'm sure most of you are aware, was the request from staff to amend the site plan approval process and architectural review within the zoning code, and to essentially simplify that review for certain uses within the code. Right now, almost every use within the code, within almost every zoning district, requires a level of review beyond what staff is reviewing it internally for. It would have to come to Plan Commission. And again, the item was that staff brought before you was whether or not to simplify that review for certain uses, and then you know, to act upon it. And it was tabled. There were some concerns. So after that meeting, I followed up with an interview, or with an email identifying the architectural procedures and the site plan procedures for those items within the zoning code, and recommended that you thoroughly review those procedures. And then also reference the memo that was provided back in October. Ultimately, I think you know, the added time will help in making a determination here, but there are 2 things again I want to point out. And one is for the Plan Commission to think about whether or not we want to simplify the review for certain uses. And again, the example that I will use are some of the more recent ones: the optical clinic, the coffee shop, that have come before Plan Commission, and it's been a fairly simple request for approval. And those same review criteria that were reviewed at Plan Commission were also reviewed internally in my office. I, as the zoning administrator, am administrating the zoning code to its full extent, but again, in those cases, Plan Commission served as that secondary level of review. So again, one, does the Plan Commission feel comfortable with simplifying the review for certain uses? And then 2, if they do feel comfortable with reviewing or simplifying the review, again, maybe removing certain uses within the use table from needing to go to Plan Commission, if you feel comfortable in doing that, then I would ask that you specifically look at the use table, which was provided in the original memo, as well as page 1 of the memo. Many of the uses I bulleted. Look at those specific uses and you know, kind of identify with yourself maybe what you would feel comfortable in allowing to not have to go to Plan Commission, and maybe things that you would want to see going to Plan Commission. And then I would be prepared in December to come back to Plan Commission and discuss that in depth. I think in talking with the mayor a little bit, I will prepare to give a further presentation in regards to this item at the December meeting. But until then, I would also offer myself available to any Plan Commissioner or council member that would like to talk further about this specific amendment. and some implications, or maybe how it affects the process and the procedures, or if you have questions about the use table and any of the other information that I've provided, I'm available via email or phone. I'd be happy to sit down with you via electronic means or in person and discuss it. And that is all I have for my staff update.
Thank you, Kyle. Does anybody have any questions for him?
I have a comment, and that would be, Kyle, if you've got a more legible copy of the matrix that we could use to work with, that would be great.
Do you want an electronic copy or a hard copy?
I have an electronic copy, it's just that it's so small and in black and white, it's really difficult to work with.
I can try to, what I can do is try to provide an 11 by 17 electronic version that might increase the size of the font and might be a little more legible.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything? Well, we're at item number 5, and I appreciate everybody showing up by Zoom and going forward. Hopefully, we all stay healthy, and I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion,
Second by Burkhart.
and a second by Shane. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Thanks.